I'm standing in my kitchen watching a Salisbury steak spin in slow, pathetic circles, and I'm wondering when my life shrank to plastic trays and text messages. The glow from the microwave makes the gravy look like motor oil. Fitting. The phone buzzes on the counter. Claire, at Emily's. Might be late. Don't wait up. To most guys, that would sound normal. A wife helping her sister through family drama. 2 glasses of wine, some crying on a couch. The kind of thing you nod at and say, of course, honey, she needs you. If you're wondering why I don't, it's because I know something you don't. My wife's sister, Emily Sanders, hasn't spoken to her in 6 months. I don't mean we're not as close. I mean Cold War. A Thanksgiving absence nobody explained out loud, but everyone felt. Somewhere between Claire's sharp tongue and Emily's patience running out, the bridge burned down. So every time Claire's been at Emily's these last few months, I've been building little excuses in my head. Maybe they made up. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I'm overthinking. Men love maybe when the alternative is admitting we've been played. But tonight, something in that text hits differently. Maybe it's the heart emoji at the end, like she's signing her name with a smirk. Maybe it's the way she's been dressing lately, new clothes, designer stuff we never talked about buying. Maybe it's the gym membership that came out of nowhere after 15 years of being comfortable in old hoodies. The microwave beeps. I don't move. My gut does that slow, heavy roll it's been doing for months. Only this time it doesn't settle. It hardens. Have you ever felt your brain stop being your friend and start being a witness? I pick up the phone and type, thumb steady even though my heartbeat isn't. Me having dinner with someone important. We'll talk when you're back. I send it and just watch the screen. No typing dots. No reply. Interesting. Okay. I say out loud to the empty kitchen. Let's see it then. I scroll to Emily's number. We haven't talked much either. Divorce lawyers and therapists get all the airtime in these stories, but sometimes the most dangerous person is the one who's been watching from the family table. I hit call. Jake? She answers, voice tight with surprise. Everything okay? Depends, I say. Got a quick question. Shoot. When's the last time Claire was actually at your house, on a Tuesday or Thursday night? There's this little pause, sharp, surgical. What are you talking about? She says she's with you, I say. Tonight. And every Tuesday and Thursday lately. Family drama. Emily lets out a breath that is half laugh, half rage. When she speaks, her voice has teeth. She hasn't been here in 6 months, Jake. The plastic tray in the microwave might as well be a gravestone. Everything I've been pretending not to see lines up in one neat, ugly row, late nights, new clothes, secret smiles at her phone. 6 months. My marriage didn't break at that moment. It already broke a long time ago. I just finally stopped pretending it's still alive. Emily shows up 20 minutes later with a bottle of red and the kind of expression you wear to a funeral you've been expecting. She steps into my kitchen like she's been doing it every day for years, even though it's been months. She's leaner than Claire, sharper around the eyes. Where Claire polishes everything to look perfect, Emily looks like she sanded herself down to essentials and got tired halfway. I figured you'd need this, she says, holding up the bottle. I figured I needed an explanation, I answered. We sat at the counter. I pour. The microwave dinner sits untouched, cooling into a solid, depressing slab between us. How long? She asks finally. I take a sip. Suspicion? Couple of months. Real gut feeling I couldn't talk myself out of? About 15 minutes ago, when you said she hasn't been at your place. Emily nods like she's been waiting for me to catch up. Jake, I didn't just sit on it. She reaches into her bag, pulls out a thick manila envelope, sets it on the counter between us. I got tired of being her alibi. So 3 weeks ago, I hired a PI. My hand doesn't shake until I touch the flap. Then it does. You hired a professional, she says, voice flat. Followed her. Logged it. I wasn't sure when to give this to you. I guess your text made that decision for me. The glue gives with a soft rip, and everything I've been afraid to picture is suddenly printed on glossy paper. Photo 1. Claire's car, parked tight against the side of a downtown motel I've driven past 100 times without looking twice. Photo 2. Her and Derek Lawson, her coworker, walking out of a restaurant I've never been to, their hands linked like they've done it 1,000 times. Photo 3. Claire pressed against him in a half-lit parking lot, his hand on her hip, her face tilted up, mouth on his. I spread them out. More shots. Different clothes. Different nights. A timeline of her Emily's house evenings. Receipts clipped to each entry. Room numbers. Dates. Times. Chicago hotel charges on the same weekend. She called it a conference. Neat notes in Emily's tight handwriting connecting all the lies. Jesus, I mutter. Emily watches me, not the photos. His name's Derek. He's married. Patricia Lawson. He thinks he's subtle. He's not. I stack the pictures, line them up, but there's no way to make them less loud. So, Emily says, voice cooling. What do you want to do? Yell? Smash something? Call her. I take a breath. Another. Anger's there, sure, but it's clean, not wild. I'm done being surprised. I'm done being generous. No, I say. We're going to let her walk into her own mess. She tilts her head. Go on. I slide my phone across the counter. You're going to call her. From my number. Tell her there's some kind of emergency with your mom. She'll drop whatever lie she's living and come running. And when will she gets here? Emily asks. I look around the dining room in my head. Already seeing it. Candles. Wine. 2 glasses. An angle that can't be explained away. When she gets here, I say, I want her to see exactly what lying looks like from the outside. Emily's mouth curls, not quite a smile. You're not trying to make her jealous? I shake my head. No, I'm done competing. This isn't about cheating back. This is about catching her in every lie at once. Emily nods slowly. Then let's set the table. 15 minutes can feel like a lifetime when you're waiting to end one. The dining room looks like a scene from a cheap romance movie. Candles burning low, 2 plates set but empty, a half-finished bottle of wine between 2 glasses. Emily and I sit on the same side of the table, close enough that, from the doorway, it'll read wrong. Remember, I say quietly, no touching. She snorts. Relax, Jake. I'm not here for that kind of revenge. The clock in the kitchen ticks loud enough to be rude. My heart keeps trying to climb into my throat. I'm not scared of her reaction. I'm wired because there's no going back after this. Once you say it out loud, the fantasy dies. Headlights wash across the front window. Car door slams. Fast footsteps on the porch. The front door flies open. Jake! Claire's voice, sharp, anxious. She steps into the dining room, overdressed for helping her sister through a hard time. New jacket, hair done. Makeup perfect at 9 p.m. on a Thursday. She sees us. See the candles. The wine. Me and Emily at the same side of the table. Her face goes through 3 expressions in 2 seconds. Confusion, suspicion, insult. She plants her bag on a chair. What is this? She demands. Emily stands slowly, pushing her chair back. Her voice comes out like ice on glass. How was Derek tonight? Silence hits the room like a dropped plate. Claire's mouth opens, closes. What did you just say? You heard me, Emily says. How was Derek Lawson? The motel? The restaurants? Chicago? I don't say a word. I just reach for the manila envelope on the sideboard, pull out the stack, and lay the photos down in a line across the table. Car at the motel. Hands held. Parking lot kiss. Chicago. Claire's eyes skim the images. Shock, fear, anger. Then that flicker, relief, twisted and small. The kind you see when a liar realizes the performance is finally over. This isn't, she starts. Don't, I cut in, voice steady. Don't insult both of us with another lie. She looks at me like I've betrayed her. You went through my life? You spied on me? I survived you, I answered. Big difference. Her hand hovers over a photo, then pulls back like it burns. Jake, we can talk about this. 15 years. Are over, I say. Tomorrow you call a lawyer. We're getting divorced. I'm not sweeping this under a rug, so you can keep pretending you're the victim. Her eyes flash. You'll regret throwing away 15 years. I meet her stare, calm. Done. I'm not throwing anything away. You did that in motel rooms and parking lots. I'm just acknowledging the wreckage. Divorce feels a lot colder when it's printed in black ink on white paper. Megan Carter sits across from me in her office. Dark suit, tighter smile. She looks like the kind of woman who eats excuses for breakfast. My file is open between us, thin right now but growing. So, she says, pen tapping the desk. Adultery, hidden spending, possible dissipation of marital assets, and a third party we may be able to drag into this, depending on your appetite for pain. Hearing 15 years of my life boiled down to bullet points is like being told your house isn't home. It's a depreciating structure. It stings, but it's clarifying. I slide the envelope across. She puts on her glasses and goes through everything. Photos, receipts, Emily's timeline. No flinching, no sympathetic face. Just calculation. Good documentation, she says. Her affair and the secret spending give us leverage. Depending on your state, we may argue for a larger share of assets. And Derek Lawson. She taps his name with the pen. There's still an alienation of affection angle in some jurisdictions. Old school, but it exists. Even if it doesn't stick, the threat alone can be persuasive. I don't just want out, I say. I want it to mean something. She nods once. Then we build it that way. You stay calm. You don't blow up. You let the paper and evidence do the screaming. Back home, I do the quiet work. Boxes line the bedroom. I fold Claire's clothes like I'm packing for someone I respect. Wrap picture frames in towels. Drawer by drawer, I relocate her life from our room to the garage. Emily shows up with sandwiches, drops them on the dresser. You don't have to be this careful, she says, watching me wrap a pair of heels. I do, I answer. I'm not giving her anything to point at and call cruelty. She sits on the edge of the stripped bed. You know how many years I've watched her tear you down at family dinners? Little jokes at your expense. Rolling her eyes when you talked. Acting like you were some dumb dog that was lucky to be kept. I stop, box half filled. You never said anything, I told her. Her jaw tightens. Because you always defended her. She doesn't mean it. She's just stressed. At some point I realized I was more offended for you than you were for yourself. We carry the last box to the garage together. The echo in there is different, harsher, temporary. I set the box down on the concrete, straighten up, and dust my hands. That's it, I say. From now on, if she wants something from me, she knocks on the door. She doesn't live in my blind spot anymore. Emily nods. Good. It's about time someone moved her out of the center of your life. The house feels lighter when we walk back in. Not happy. Not yet. Just less crowded with lies. Saturday morning, the coffee shop is all sun glare and hissed milk foam. Couples, laptops, stroller moms. Regular life. I sit with my back to the wall, Emily across from me. Between us, 2 coffees and that low hum of tension you get right before something important starts. She picked the place, Emily says, checking her phone. Principal at West Ridge Middle. Been married to Derek for 12 years. Legally? Ask. She shrugs. We'll see. The bell over the door rings. I know it's her before Emily even looks. There's a certain walk angry people have when they've passed heartbreak and kept going. Patricia Lawson is mid-40s, tall and controlled. No messy bun, no smudged mascara. Hair pinned back, blazer sharp, eyes colder than the iced drinks in the display. Jake? She asks. I stand, shake her hand. Her grip is firm, no nonsense. She nods at Emily like they've already been on the same team for weeks. Thank you for meeting me, she says, sitting. I figured we could save time if we stopped pretending our lives aren't tied together now. Straight's fine with me, I say. I'm out of energy for being polite. She pulls a thick folder from her bag, sets it gently on the table like it's a bomb. Good, she says, because my husband is not just a cheating bastard. He's a criminal cheating bastard. She flips the folder open. Spreadsheets, bank statements, color-coded tabs. My envelope at home suddenly feels like a kid's scrapbook. Derek has been living a double life for years. she says. Claire is just the latest accessory. Hidden accounts, off-the-books commissions, shell LLCs. He's been reporting maybe 60% of his real income to the IRS. Sometimes less. I glance at the rows of numbers, the highlighted sections. How do you know all this? I teach math, she says. And I got tired of feeling crazy, so I started paying attention, pulling statements, matching dates. At some point, the pattern stops being odd and starts being felony. Emily leans in. Have you talked to anyone? Patricia gives a small, humorless smile. The IRS. Yes, they have these now. She taps the spreadsheets. I didn't go in there with suspicion. I went in with proof. The air around our table feels heavier. So while Derek thinks he's leaving his sad, boring wife for his exciting real estate soulmate, she continues. He has no idea a federal investigation is already in motion. His business, his freedom, his reputation on borrowed time. It hits me then. Claire didn't just trade our marriage for some fantasy of passion. She jumped onto a ship that's already taking on water. Patricia flips to another section. He's been using company resources for personal gain. Cars, expense accounts, client funds redirected. If his broker isn't in trouble yet, he will be. And Derek will be fired, sued, or both. I almost feel sorry for him. Almost. Then I remember the motel photos. And because the universe has a sense of humor, she adds. He never actually divorced his first wife. Messy separation, moved states, forged a few things, pretended it was over. Legally, he's still married to her. Which means I'm not his wife. I'm just the idiot who filed joint taxes with him for a decade. Bigamy, Emily says quietly. Among other things, Patricia replies. My lawyer thinks we can hit him with fraud, emotional distress, maybe more. I won't see much money. But at this point, I'm more interested in taking a match to his life than getting a check out of it. I sit back, let it all sink in. The guy my wife blew up our marriage for is a walking crime spree in a nice jacket. IRS heat. Company violations. Another wife tucked away in some file. Of course he is. So why meet with us? Ask. What do you want from me? She looks me dead in the eye. Honesty. Coordination. I'm not here to save your marriage, and you're not here to save mine. But we share an enemy and two idiots who think they're in some grand love story. She wraps her hands around her coffee cup. My proposal is simple. We let them think they're winning. Let Derek think he's leveling up his life. Let Claire think she traded up. We don't scream. We don't warn. We just step out of the way and let the IRS, his employer, and the truth cave their little fantasy in. Emily's mouth twists. That's brutal. That's justice, Patricia corrects. Then she looks at me again. You want revenge, Jake? This is the clean kind. You don't have to lift a finger. Just stop shielding her. I picture Claire, all smiles and secrets, hitching her future to a man with hidden accounts and a forgotten wife. For the first time since this started, I feel something close to dark satisfaction instead of just hurt. I'm in, I say. I'm done saving people from the lives they chose. 3 weeks later, I'm drinking coffee at my kitchen table, scrolling headlines, trying to care about anything other than lawyers and boxes. My phone rings. Patricia. I answer. Morning. Turn on channel 7, she says. Now. Her voice has an edge I haven't heard before. I grab the remote, flip to the local news. Takes 5 seconds to find him. There he is. Derek Lawson. My wife's fresh start. Walking out of his real estate office in cuffs. Jacket off, tie hanging, hair messed up by the wind and the officers holding his arms. The camera zooms in like it's hungry. The reporters doing that serious voice they save for crime and snowstorms. Federal agents executing search warrants this morning at the offices and home of local realtor Derek Lawson, as part of an ongoing investigation into tax evasion, hidden income, and financial fraud spanning multiple years. Patricia breathes on the line. Told you, she says. His accountant tried to play dumb. Didn't work. They show agents hauling out boxes, computers, file boxes that look way too much like the ones in my garage. My other phone, The one I haven't blocked Claire on yet. Starts ringing. Her name flashes across the screen. Speak of the devil, I say. Answer it. Patricia tells me. You'll want to hear this. I click over. Yeah. She's already crying. Jake. Oh my God. Have you seen the news? They arrested Derek. They took his computers. The FBI called me. They want to talk to me about the money he spent. Her voice is wild, panicked, high-pitched in a way I've never heard. I keep my level. You should get a lawyer. I need you, she says. They're asking about trips, gifts, deposits. They said my name is in spreadsheets. What do I do? You've always been good with this stuff. You always... And there it is. The old script. I screw up, you steady the ship. I burn it down, you grab the extinguisher. Claire, I say, you don't need a husband. You need legal counsel. Call Derek. Oh, wait. I glance back at the TV. His accounts are probably frozen. She sucks in a breath like I hit her. You're really going to just leave me like this? I look at the screen. Derek is being loaded into a car, head ducked, mouth tight, reporters shouting his name. Somewhere off camera, Patricia is probably watching too, breathing easier. I'm not leaving you, I say. You walked out a long time ago. You just finally noticed the door. She goes quiet. Then, you are being unbelievably cruel. I check in with myself just to be sure. Do I feel cruel? No, I feel tired. Done. Sharp around the edges, but clear. I'm not posting anything about you, I say. I'm not trashing you in town. I'm not calling the FBI on you. I'm just not saving you from the fallout you helped build. That's not cruelty. That's retirement. She hangs up. No goodbye. A minute later, Emily texts. Law firm's buzzing. Everybody is talking about the mistress of a tax cheat. You okay? I look around my quiet house. Boxes in the garage. Divorce paperwork in a neat stack. The TV playing the end of someone else's fantasy. Me, I'm fine. Just watching consequences do their thing. The diner on the far side of town smells like burned coffee and fried regret. Perfect place for a postmortem. Claire picked it. Neutral ground. Not our usual spot. Not anywhere Derek would risk showing his face. She's already in the booth when I walk in. No makeup. Hair in a loose knot. Hoodie, jeans, dark circles under her eyes. It's jarring. Like someone hit fast forward on the last few months of her life. Hey, she says, voice small. I sit across from her. You said you wanted one real conversation. This is it. Use it well. The waitress drops off coffee and vanishes. We sit with the steam between us. She goes first. It wasn't some fairy tale. With Derek, it wasn't that. Good, I say. I'd hate for your felony-adjacent romance to be cliché. Her jaw tightens. You think this is funny? I think it's expensive, I answered. Keep talking. She looks down at her hands. I felt invisible, Jake. For years, we turned into roommates with rings. Schedules, bills, work, sleep. The only time you touched me was habit. The only time we talked was logistics. I was dying in my own house. I let that sit. I'm not going to pretend she's wrong about the drift. You're not the only one who was bored and tired, I say. The difference is, I didn't go looking for motel loyalty programs. She flinches. Derek made me feel seen, wanted, like I mattered. Sure, I say. Guys like him specialize in that. But let's be clear. Boredom isn't permission. Feeling unseen isn't a hall pass. You didn't come to me. You went around me. She swallows, eyes glossy but not spilling. I know I screwed up. Screwed up is forgetting to pay the electric bill, I say. You built a second life. She takes a breath like she's stepping off a ledge. I need your help. There it is. My attorney says they might ask for character references. She says, people willing to say I'd never knowingly be involved in anything criminal. That I'm a good person who made a mistake. She looks up. I was hoping you could be one of them, and maybe Emily. I stir my coffee even though I don't take sugar. Let me get this straight. 6 months of lies. affairs, using your sister as an alibi. And now you want me to stand up and swear you'd never knowingly do something wrong. Because you know me, she says, desperate now. You know I'm not some criminal. You know I'm not that person. I hold her gaze. I knew a version of you, the one I married, the one I would have bet my life on. That woman doesn't exist anymore. The one sitting in front of me, I don't know what she's capable of. I'm not putting my name on a guess. Her face hardens. So that's it? You're just going to stand there and watch while I get dragged through this? No, I say quietly. I'm going to walk away. That's different. The feds aren't dragging you. You climbed into Derek's car on your own. She looks like she wants to spit something venomous, but nothing comes. Just exhaustion. When I get home, Emily calls before I can even take off my jacket. Well, she asks. She wanted a character reference. I say. I told her I don't know her character anymore. Emily exhales, satisfied. Good. Feels harsh. I admit. It's not harsh, she says. Harsh would be lying for her again. This. Her voice softens, just a little. This is you finally refusing to be used. I lean against the wall, staring at the quiet house. For the first time, I let myself consider that saying no isn't cruelty. It's self-respect. Legal trouble doesn't always look like a courtroom. Sometimes it's just your phone lighting up with unknown numbers and heavy voices. David Price, Claire's federal attorney, calls first. Smooth voice, careful words. Mr. Miller, I represent your wife, Claire. I was hoping to ask for your assistance. I'm her soon-to-be ex-husband. I correct. But go ahead. He does the dance. Talks about her otherwise clean record, her stable community ties, how she's cooperating fully, and how it would help immensely if someone like me could testify to her good character. What would you say about her, honestly? He asks. I look out the window at my half-empty driveway. Honestly? I'd say I don't know her character anymore. 6 months ago, I would have sworn she wasn't the type to cheat, lie, or help a tax cheat spend dirty money. I'd have been wrong on all counts. I'm not making that mistake twice. Silence. Then a sigh. I'll take that as a no. Take it as the truth, I say, and hang up. Emily calls 10 minutes later, already laughing. Guess who just tried to recruit me for the Claire's a Great Person Club? You tell him the same thing? Ask. Word for word, she says. We're finally in sync. Claire finds out, of course. The texts come in hot. You're abandoning me. You and Emily are heartless. I never would have done this to you. I don't reply. I don't need to. The local paper runs an update on Derek's case. He's taking a plea, cooperating. His whole financial life laid bare in print, fake numbers, shell companies, years of greed. Several recipients of luxury gifts are said to be cooperating and unlikely to face charges. Patricia calls that night. He tried to blame Claire, she says. Hinted she might have been blackmailing him. They didn't buy it. No proof. I feel something unclench in my chest. Good. Truth is, I never wanted her in prison. I wanted her out of my house, out of my life, and out of the fantasy that she could wreck people and walk away clean. Patricia's pursuing bigamy and fraud anyway. She knows she won't see much money. Sometimes, she tells me, burning the ruin is the only closure you get. After we hang up, I realize we've all been on trial this whole time. Derek in federal court, Claire in the court of public opinion, and me in the quiet courtroom behind my own ribs. For the first time, I feel like I might actually be winning my case. The divorce papers come in a plain envelope, which feels about right. 15 years of marriage, reduced to signatures and dates and a stamped court seal. No fireworks, no big speech. Just done. Claire's already moved her stuff. The bedroom closet is half empty now. My side neat. Her side bare except for a stray hanger and a dust line where her shoe rack used to sit. Her boxes are gone from the garage. Patricia sold her house and is heading out of state. Last text reading. He's the federal government's problem now. You and Emily take care. The phone rings that night. Claire. I answer because I want it over. Yeah. I'm not being charged, she says. No hello. Her voice sounds worn out instead of sharp. They say my cooperation helped. Derek's taking most of it. Good for you, I say. Use the second chance better than you used the first. She exhales. Do you hate me? I think about it. Really think. No, I say. I don't hate you. That would mean you still take up that kind of space in my head. Do you still love me? She asks, barely audible. I love the woman I thought I married, I answer. She was loyal, honest, tough. I don't know where she went. I don't know the person who replaced her. There's silence on the line. Then, I hope you find someone who makes you happy. I hope you find someone who makes you honest. I say back. We hung up. No promises. No keep in touch. Just clean silence. I walk through the house. The empty spots where her decorations used to be don't feel like wounds anymore. They feel like blank pages. My phone buzzes. Emily, dinner tomorrow. My treat. Celebrating you finally quitting your doormat job. I text back. I'm paying. And if I ever trust a cheating wife again, you have my permission to have me committed. That night, I sit alone in a quiet, honest house. No lies humming under the floorboards. No phone tracking a woman who isn't where she says she is. It doesn't feel triumphant. Feels calm. For the first time in a long time, that's enough.
Subscribe and stay one step ahead of cheaters. And trust me, the next story makes this one look like a fairy tale.